Alright. I'm gonna try out the office telephone now.
I suppose the best thing I can do now is phone Chief Inspector Powell.
Okay.
Detective Sergeant Briscoe, put me through to Chief Inspector Powell, please. I see. And when will he return? It's urgent. All right, I'll call back later. Please tell him I called and that I'll be in the field now if he needs to talk to me. He'll know. Goodbye. He's not here, and he should be back in 2 hours, so what should I do now? I'm not going to waste my time. I'll search the neighborhood to try and find clues, and then we'll see.
That sounds like a freaking brilliant idea, dude. No. Do I got my warrant card? Search the neighborhood.
I'm just asking, nothing more.
And I am repeating that it is pointless. There is nothing to see in there.
Well, if there is nothing to see, why don't you allow me to go in?
I have to insist that you leave.
Oh, I perfectly understand. Who's your superior?
You can ask at the station.
Thank you very much for your helpfulness.
Any troubles, Carter?
Not at all, sir. Just this annoying journalist. He wanted to go in.
Mind he stays on this side of the wall.
Should I arrest him straight away, sir?
Do you have any reason to do that?
I think he's suspicious, sir. How come he appeared right here?
Leave it up to me. Unfortunately, I have no reason to confiscate it.
Damn. Question.
Excuse me? Are you with the press?
And you with police, if I'm not mistaken.
I see there is no need to pretend anything. So I suppose you will not mind several questions, will you?
Of course not.
What are you doing here so early in the morning?
There's nothing strange about it. I'm working on an article about the funeral of Sir William, which took place yesterday. You know, the noble man, nicknamed Mad William or something. I bet I won't be the only journalist who'll come here today, so I got up early.
I suppose the family of the deceased is agreeable to that, and that you have their consent?
Inspector, I hope we two are not going to trespass upon each other's patch.
Let me make it clear. I am no inspector, but I'm going to keep a close watch on you. You can count on that. And I'm prepared to pressure you if it's necessary.
I accept the challenge. It will be my pleasure to work with you.
Not mine. Big-headed fool. Just wait, I'll show you. Did you know Sir William personally?
No, we never met, thank God.
Tell me, how can you write about someone you don't know?
Inspector, everyone knew Sir William because of what he did during his life. I've talked to plenty of people who ran away from the horror. Trust me, the stories were terrible.
Verified by whom?
The horror of those people's eyes, Inspector. It will convince you more than anything else.
This is leading nowhere. A prostitute in a church would be more credible than him. Sir,
Don't count on it.
have you ever seen a prison cell from the inside?
I have, But don't get me wrong, it's nothing to shout about.
Exactly.
Is that supposed to be a threat? You can't arrest me.
I'll do it.
I'll complain.
You can.
I'm not going to leave anyway. The public has a right to know what's going on.
He didn't swallow the bait. He's no amateur.
See if I need to talk to him again. Oh, boy, there's like a lot to talk to the Popo dude here about.
Do you know that man?
I do, sir, unfortunately.
Why the regret?
His name is Nathaniel Forrest. He brings nothing but trouble. I don't know how it's possible, sir, but any time anything happens, he's there. He's like a pain in my neck, sir.
Oh.
Which newspaper does he write for?
The Courier, sir. A local sheet, nothing special. He publishes a photograph, adds several pages of rubbish, and people swallow it. But in my opinion, sir, serious people never read anything like that.
We have work to do, Sergeant. Someone has broken into a nobleman's family tomb.
Oh, unbelievable. What are people capable of today?
Tell me, has something similar happened before?
I don't know about anything like that, sir. Try asking the local vicar.
Yes, I was going to do that.
Shall I go to the office, sir?
Why? Do you think we'll need help?
Well, I think we might.
I'll manage, don't worry. Do you have any matches?
Of course, sir. Do you smoke?
No. Sometimes I just need to shine light on something.
I have a cigarette from time to time, sir, but it's hard on the pocket. Here you are, sir.
Thank you.
Woohoo. Yeah. Matches. Ah! Sorry. No, I'm not done. There was small talk.
How long have you been working as a police officer?
Only 2 years, sir, but the time passes pretty fast.
Yes, I've already noticed one never gets bored in here.
Well, sometimes it is exciting. The harbour attracts various shady fellows who like to cause trouble. You're probably used to more peaceful places, aren't you, sir?
That's true. I served in the countryside for 3 years.
Really, sir? I'd bite your hand off for that job, sir. Nobody could ever get me back to Plymouth. Why did you leave, sir?
I'm sorry, but I'd rather keep some details for myself. At least for now.
Do I want to talk to him about anything else? No.
Is it true? What's said about Sir William?
You mean that Sir William was a beast and a monster? Yes, that is true.
I must confess that I don't know what to think.
Who of us is able to understand God's intention? But I am sure it was not God's will that he came into this world.
What do you mean?
When he was born, it was as if he wasn't one of God's creations. He had a totally lifeless face, and those eyes. Understand me, it is not easy to talk about it.
I understand. Tell me, how did his family cope with it?
It was very difficult, especially for his mother. She just could not bear it, and eventually the strain was such that she took her own life. We had to bury her on the Gallows Hill.
Where is it?
It is a place forgotten by God, a cemetery for suicides.
And what about his father?
He disappeared the night when all the servants left the mansion. And then Only William remained with Lady Miriam, his grandmother.
All this just because he had a disfigured face?
No, of course not. When he grew older, strange stories began to be told about him. Once, it was a dead cat in his arms. Once, he was found sitting next to a dead horse. And whenever a maid disappeared, you can easily guess whose work it was said to have been. At that time, his father was still alive and kept the estate together, but that was not to last. The servants revolted, set the house on fire, and fled. His father vanished, and only ruins remained. A sad and tragic story.
I'd like to know more.
You must excuse me, Detective, but there is nothing more to say.
Jeez.
The coffin was closed during the whole funeral, is that right?
Yes.
By whose request?
Lady Miriam, the grandmother of the deceased, wished it so.
That's suspicious, don't you think?
I can't understand why.
I think it might have already been empty before the funeral. Perhaps it was Lady Miriam's last attempt to protect her grandson. Everybody hates him. It almost destroyed the family. If he disappeared, he would soon be forgotten about. Lady Miriam might have faked his death in the hope that is what would happen.
I am sorry, but this seems rather far-fetched to me. The absolute isolation and the permanent fear of discovery would be worse than a prison sentence.
You're right. But people sometimes do desperate things when they have no other choice. It's possible that those delinquents tried to break into the church. Perhaps the gravedigger tried to stop them, and so they killed him.
But what do the destruction of the tomb and disappearance of the body have to do with it?
It can be a provocation, or a camouflage. They try to put us off the scent.
I cannot believe it.
We're at the very beginning of the investigation. It's my duty to examine every possibility.
If I can help with anything, I am at your service.
In that case, I would like to ask you to check the church inventory, just in case something is missing.
Yes, that is a good idea. At least I can make myself useful.
If you find something out and I'm not here anymore, send a message to the station.
You can rely on me, Detective. God bless you.
Yay. Okay, so what do we have here? Let's double check. Ooh.
It has something in its teeth. I can't pull it out. An interesting catch. I'll make some notes.
See. Probably should compare these, right?
The fabric doesn't match the gravedigger's clothes. The dog definitely fought with someone else.
Okay. I don't think there's anything else we can do. So let's go up here. you.